They didn't just ban these films. They raided theaters, seized prints, arrested people, all because these movies showed something they weren't supposed to: sex, power, sadism, truth. The 1960s weren't peace and love for everyone. Some films were treated like crimes. Fuego, 1969, Argentina. This film was so sexual, it got banned in multiple countries, including its own. Fuego lit up Argentine screens in 1969 and immediately got scorched by censors. Directed by Armando Bo and starring Isabel Sarli, it was marketed as an erotic drama, but what audiences got was something far more explicit. Sarli plays a woman consumed by uncontrollable sexual desire. Her performance? Explosive. Nude scenes, simulated masturbation, heavy breathing, bold cuts, sweat, and obsession. Every frame drips with Catholic guilt and raw physicality. The Argentine authorities banned it outright, calling it immoral. It faced restrictions or cuts in Spain, Brazil, and parts of the US. Critics dismissed it as softcore smut. But to Sarli's fans, she was a feminist icon, owning her sexuality on screen without apology. Bo and Sarli made over 20 films together. Fuego was their most infamous. Still underground, still smoldering. They tried to shut it down, but you can't censor heat. This wasn't art house. This was a fire they couldn't put out. The Immoral Mr. T's, 1959, USA. This film made millions and got banned across America. The Immoral Mr. T's wasn't violent. It wasn't explicit by today's standards. But in 1959, it was a revolution and a scandal. Directed by Russ Meyer for just $24,000, it follows a mild-mannered man who suddenly sees every woman around him naked. No dialogue, no plot, just sunlit stripteases, voyeurism, and a lot of smiling. It became the first commercially successful nudie cutie and launched Meyer's career. But not without a fight. Over 21 states tried to ban it. Theaters were raided. Authorities declared it obscene. Some even tried to label it pornography, despite it containing no sex scenes. Critics called it trash. Audiences made it a cult sensation. It grossed over $1 million, an underground film that crashed into the mainstream. This was softcore before softcore, a beach fantasy dressed up as cinema, and the moment when censorship realized they couldn't stop people from watching. This one wasn't officially banned, but the critical reaction was so vicious, so intensely negative, it essentially killed Powell's career in the UK for years. Powell had been a huge name in British film. It's a psychological thriller. A cameraman murders women while filming their expressions of terror. Very stylish, very unsettling, ahead of its time. Critics were brutal. Headlines screamed evil, disgusting. The Daily Telegraph called it a beastly film. Within weeks, cinemas dropped it. No official ban. The cultural rejection was total. Powell became a pariah. The film wasn't about gore. It was about psychology, voyeurism. Our obsession with watching, filming, controlling. It held up an uncomfortable mirror. It predicted the slasher genre. Psycho came out around the same time, dealt with similar themes, and was eventually celebrated. Peeping Tom was condemned. It remained a cinematic ghost for decades. Gritty is the word. The opening scene, a bald prostitute beating a John with her purse, sets the tone immediately. No holding back. It tackled heavy themes beyond prostitution, small-town hypocrisy, corruption under the surface, and the big taboo for the time, child abuse. That subplot was so incendiary that many theaters refused to show the film. Audiences walked out. Some cities pulled it due to outrage, banned in the UK until 1990. Fuller's style was blunt. He showed the ugly side of the American dream with harsh visuals, stark dialogue, no sugarcoating. Critically, it was mostly panned, called loud, lurid, too real. Dismissed as exploitation for a long time. It's been reevaluated as a cult classic. Brutal, but impactful. A cinematic punch to the gut. Fuller was a provocateur. Titicut Follies, 1967, USA. The only US film banned for reasons of privacy. Not obscenity, not national security. A documentary filmed inside Bridgewater State Hospital in Massachusetts, a facility for the criminally insane. Wiseman was granted extraordinary access. No actors, no soundtrack, no narration, just raw, unfiltered footage. Inmates being force-fed, stripped, mocked by guards, left naked and shivering in bare concrete cells, filmed in grainy black and white, nothing staged, nothing softened. The result was immediate controversy. Massachusetts officials moved quickly. Despite the patients signing release forms, the state claimed it violated their right to privacy. Courts agreed. The film was banned from general exhibition, not rated X, not censored. Banned for 24 years. From 1967 to 1991, Titicut Follies could only be shown to medical professionals or academics with special permission from the court. Even universities couldn't screen it freely. The film became an underground legend, discussed in law classes, ethics debates, and banned film lists, but almost never seen. It raised critical questions about the balance between exposing systemic abuse and protecting individual dignity. It revealed how institutions silence truth behind legal justifications. One of the most censored documentaries in U.S. history. Love Camp 7, 1969. Often cited as the start of the Nazi exploitation genre. Not subtle, not historically accurate. Two Allied women infiltrate a Nazi prison camp. It descends into scenes of torture, humiliation, forced nudity, sadistic power games, all using Nazi imagery for shock value. Pure exploitation. The UK refused to classify it, calling it unacceptable under any circumstances. It was completely banned. Later, in the 1980s, it became a prime target on the Video Nasties list. Seized. Universally condemned by mainstream critics. Distributors avoided it. It still circulated underground, bootleg tapes, grindhouse showings. It spawned imitators. Despite being banned and reviled, it opened the door for a wave of similar, often more extreme films like Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. Banned, yet influential in its niche. Once that door opened, it was hard to close. Vixen, 1968. Defiant. Exploitation with a rebellious energy. Erica Gavin plays a highly sexual woman in the Canadian wilderness who seduces everyone, men, women, even her brother. Incest and lesbianism in a 1968 film caused immediate legal trouble. Ohio officials raided a theater on opening night, declared the film obscene, seized the print. The court upheld the ban. Other states tried to follow. Meyer fought back in court, arguing it had social value and artistic merit. He won some cases. He redefined softcore cinema by pushing boundaries. Despite being banned in places and widely condemned, it was a hit. It became the first X-rated film to be a major box office success in the US, grossed over $7 million, banned and popular, a contradiction, a testament to Meyer's audacity. I Am Curious, Yellow, 1967, blended real political interviews and social commentary with graphic nudity and simulated sex, tackled class, religion, the monarchy. Nothing was off limits. Very critical, very provocative. U.S. Customs seized it at JFK Airport, called it obscene. Massachusetts banned it outright. Theaters showing it were raided. People were arrested for exhibiting it. It triggered a major legal battle over free speech in cinema. The distributor, Grove Press, fought it to the Supreme Court. The legal question: could a film mix explicit sexual content with serious political and social commentary and still be protected by the First Amendment? Years of legal fights, public debate, media frenzy. The Supreme Court eventually ruled in favor of the film. Landmark decision. I Am Curious became a key test case in America's struggle with film censorship. It forced a national conversation. A film literally put on trial. Les Amants, The Lovers, 1958. This quiet French film changed U.S. law and gave us one of the most infamous quotes in Supreme Court history. Les Amants, directed by Louis Malle in 1958, told a soft, sensual story of a woman's extramarital affair. No nudity, no violence. But its tone, intimate, erotic, unapologetic, was enough to trigger full-blown legal warfare in America. In Cleveland, Ohio, a theater manager was arrested for showing the film. The charge? Obscenity. The case, Jacobellis v. Ohio, went to the U.S. Supreme Court in 1964. Justice Potter Stewart tried to define pornography and failed. Instead, he said something that became instantly infamous. I know it when I see it. That line was meant to clarify, but it did the opposite. It exposed how vague and subjective censorship truly was. But the ruling mattered. The court declared Les Amants not obscene. The manager walked free, and the decision helped weaken local censorship laws across the country. Les Amants opened the door for European art films in the US, and cracked the foundation of the Hays Code, all without a single explicit scene. One soft-focus French film and one vague Supreme Court quote forever changed how America defines what's too far. They called them obscene. They banned them. But the reels survived. At Vintage Verse, we unearthed the films they tried to silence. Subscribe for more stories the censors couldn't kill. Because banned doesn't mean forgotten, it means we pay attention.